What do you want me to say, man? This whole thing's supposed to be easy? That this road is not gonna be fraught with suffering? Life is one big fucking psychedelic trip of suffering as it is. You either suffer with the pain of regret or you suffer with the pain of discipline, as cliche as it may sound. And it's just suffering, man. You just pick your suffering. Semen retention and sobriety, that is a path truly reserved for those who have deeply suffered. Because something like the inclination to, oh, I'm gonna never use drugs again, or the inclination to hold your fucking balls in, as crazy as it fucking sounds to the average person, that is not something that can be taught to you in school. That is something that, regardless of what everybody else may say, you have a knowingness inside your system, inside your body, intuition, inspiration from your higher self. Your fucking belly, my guy. Your fucking belly. God himself has told you, you, my guy, need to hold your fucking nuts in. That is not something that you can teach somebody. That is something that, regardless of what everybody else may say, they know internally that's what they're supposed to do. And if everything's easy, if everything's peaches and fucking cream and rainbows, then you probably won't come to that realization. You probably won't, be led to that realization of your own accord. It is a path reserved for those who have truly suffered. Because true suffering can only be inflicted upon you by the universe and life, not because the life and the universe and God and your higher self are malicious, but because in order for you to start walking the correct path, for walking the correct direction that the universe has laid out for you, if you deviate from that path, it needs to make you suffer, not because it's malicious, because it needs you to be sensitive enough that if you deviate from the path you're supposed to, it says, it's gonna slap you in the face and you go, oh shit, I felt that. Most people are not sensitive enough for that. Most people, no matter what they do, they kind of get away with it. It's like, why am I so inspired to do the correct thing? And I'm doing better than 90% of people out there. I'm doing the correct things, but even then, I still suffer. It's because your nervous system and your ability to feel and your awareness and the depth of your awareness is so freaking deep that you deviate even a little bit. You have one session on the hub, you have one session of eating crap food, you have one thought that is out of alignment, one bit of attitude of resentment or gossip or shit talk, or I'm just gonna talk shit about this person and loop on negativity, you don't get away with it. Why is that? Because you have chosen an incarnation here on this planet where your nervous system and your knowingness is going to be deep and it's going to be sensitive, so that you suffer more. Not because you fucking like suffering because you're a fucking masochist, because you didn't want to give yourself an out. You didn't want to give yourself an escape route away from growth, because growth comes from pain. Why does growth need to come through pain? Not because growth inherently is caused by pain, but because we as humans, we really don't grow unless we have to. We learn and we grow. We learn the hard way or the fucking harder way. And most of the time, 95% of the time, we learn the harder way because we are stubborn fucking retards. That's how it is, man. So semen retention and sobriety and all these other great spiritual practices of avoiding your vices, they will build your awareness and they are part of the path that you were meant to walk, because suffering is what will lead you there. The amount of suffering you have gone through is proof that you are meant to walk this path, because you wouldn't be even having the realization or the inspiration to do something this fucking insane. Really, to the average person, this sounds fucking insane. Like, I'm not masturbating. Why would I do that? You can't explain it to them. You can't explain this to them. This is for you and you alone. You and truth are the majority. You cannot listen to these naysayers. You cannot listen to the system. Oh, because the doctors know more than you. Okay. The doctors know more than the universal mind that you hold. It's inspiration within you. Okay. Yeah, really. Okay. Relax. It is meant for those who have truly suffered, because Either way, your life is going to be a life of suffering, and I'm sorry to have to put it that way. Not that you can't have moments of peace and clarity in building your divine, spiritual, masculine presence, but you chose this incarnation not to fritter around and waste your fucking time. You chose this to be like a spiritual, how shall I put it, special forces mission. Most people can float around through life like they're in a fucking amusement park and they go on this ride and try this cotton candy. No. You are like a Navy SEAL on the beaches in the fucking cold, shivering and freezing. And your drill sergeant's like, another fucking push-up in the fucking water. He's slapping you in the face. He's like, another. Not because the drill sergeant hates you, not because God is malicious, not because the universe has it out for you, but because it knows if it is to build a powerful soldier that has grown to its full potential, it's gonna need to put you through the fucking ringer. And there isn't time to waste. So as soon it basically shoves your head under the water till you can barely breathe, it lets you up and it goes, all right, take a quick breath. You go, just when you catch your breath, boom, down again. Not because the universe has it out for you, but because simply because it needs you to grow and it does not have time to waste, and neither do you. So start embracing the pain, embracing the suffering, embracing the fact that 95, maybe even more than that, % of what you are supposed to do is always stuff that you don't want to do. Fundamentally, when you do it, you're very fulfilled and you know it's the right path, but in the moment, it's scary. In the moment, it fucking sucks. So get used to suffering, get used to finding peace and detachment from the suffering of, I don't care how I feel, I'm gonna do what is required for me. I'm gonna go head fucking first into the pain that I know I need to dive into, because that is where true growth is found. And I'm not saying you can't have moments of indulging and chasing pleasure a little bit. Life's like you gotta have a balance, right? You can't go your complete entire life a fucking masochist the entire fucking time. But if we're being honest, true fulfillment, and this is personally my personal experience and my opinion, so you can take it or leave it. I don't like chasing pleasure long term. In the moment, it's fucking great. It's fucking great. It gives you a moment of relief and comfort. It's fucking amazing. But if I'm being honest, what truly leaves my soul fulfilled long term is progress, is growth. That is true fulfillment, my guy. That, my man, is true fulfillment. Because there's only a cap on so much, like pleasure can bring you up, but you can only consume so much weed and alcohol and drugs and food and sex and porn and all this stuff that stimulates your dopamine, that gives you pleasure. There's like a ceiling on it. There's a fucking cap. So you go up, it's like just more drugs. You can't really go up more. It's like, well, just stack more drugs. But eventually you'll have a come down and you'll actually feel worse. And then you're just stuck in these loops of chasing dopamine. But if you find that going deeper into your pain, you start to be at this very stable baseline that with the feelings of peace and, shall we say, fulfillment, the peace and fulfillment that come from diving into your pain, they actually supersede and they go far above 5x, 10x, 20x the deep sense of joy that you feel about life compared to the pleasure. The point is, if you really think long-term, what is going to give you the most joy and positive overall experience of reality? It's always diving into your pain. It's always facing your fucking fears. And on the front end, that's very fucking uncomfortable. It's very fucking uncomfortable. I don't know what to say, man. Like, I'm going through things. I don't speak as some sort of guru who's like, I'm on the YouTube and I'm the guru and I'm telling you what to do. I'm making these videos for myself, man. I go through things on a daily basis, physically, mentally, spiritually, that I will never discuss on camera because you either won't understand or you'll understand and you'll think I'm fucking nuts. But all that to say, the reason I'm telling this to you now is like, I go through it, man, and I suffer. But the suffering is always worth the suffering is always worse when I try to numb my pain with these vices, with these distractions, with these pursuits of chasing pleasure infinitely. And when I suck it up, I grab myself by the fucking ball sack and I say, no, I don't care how we feel. We are going to do what is required. We are going to do what is required. And it sucks and it's difficult and it's just painful. but I operate regardless of how I feel because I am a God. Do I want to live in a reality of not reaching my potential, a reality that is full of living in a state of fear? Or am I going to say, regardless of how I feel, I'm going to have courage? And I know that sounds like overhype, right? Ooh, I'm so courageous because I face my daily fears. But really, it's the simple things. Why is the universe going to trust you with the big things if it can't even trust you with the little things? Oh, look, I want inspiration from the universe. The universe is not going to give you inspiration if you're not taking action on the daily, small, simple things that you know you need to take action on, my guy. It's not. The universe can't steer a fucking parked car, so move. Look at your simple but daily things, the things you don't want to do, the thought patterns that you don't want to put a pause on. The things that, oh, it's just easier to stay this way. It's easier to chase this pleasure. It's easier to do this thing. No, fuck that. What do you actually need to do? Go into your intuition, go into your belly, and ask your higher self and your soul. Not some external God outside yourself. The God within. Because you and the Father, as Jesus said, are one. The kingdom of God is found within. So go into that kingdom, go into that intuition, and ask God what you're supposed to do. How do I dive into this pain even deeper? Because that pain, that grind, that anger, those negative emotions, that is where the real work is found. And that is where you're going to grow. And that's where you're going to find the real fulfillment and the real peace and the real joy and the real love. And when you're looking back at what you achieved in this incarnation, when you finally leave the physical body, whether you leave it in the next 10 minutes because you get in a car crash, or, you just slowly waste away, and then by the age of 100, you die on your deathbed. It doesn't matter. When you're looking back on this incarnation, you say, with the time that is given me, what did I do? Did I grow spiritually in the way that I was supposed to? You cannot choose. As far as you're concerned now, before you came into the physical body, I'm sure you chose this incarnation, but right now, you're stuck here, right? You're kind of stuck here. So you cannot choose now where you are, but you can choose to do what you're going to do with the time that you've been given. So choose wisely. Choose wisely. Don't waste this experience. You get sober. You let your balls fill and you sit in that fire. Or don't. But I hope you choose to. Peace.